My name is Lorraine, and I am a part of Leverage Million Dollar Blueprint. And we have Mika Coleman, who is an investment coach. She focuses and specializes in tax deeds and overages. And we are here to give you the game on overages. So this is the Overage Boot Camp. If you have any questions, if you need to say anything, please drop it in the chat box. I'll be monitoring that. Hi, Geraldine, and we will be able to answer those throughout the presentation. We're also going to have a Q&A at the end. So without further ado, I want to give you over to Mika.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining the call. Does everybody see me okay? I just feel like it's weird. Like my camera's kind of weird. So sorry if it's acting up.
Yeah, we can see you. You're shining.
Okay, good. I have a quick question for everyone on this call. Just put it in the chat. Does anybody know of anyone that has ever lost their home due to foreclosure or tax delinquencies? Anyone? Does anybody know someone or know someone that knew someone?
We have some people that said they do. We have some that says no. We have a lot of people that said that they do.
Okay, good. Okay, well, that leads me into this presentation because what ends up happening, what overages, I'm going to explain what overages are. And so you could get a better idea of what that means. So as some of you guys know, I teach people all across the United States about tax deeds. And since the pandemic, some of the tax deed auctions and over-the-counters have slowed down. And so I just, for the last couple of months or so, I've been doing tax deed overages. And let me explain to you what tax deed overages. If you've known someone that lost their home due to delinquent taxes, there's an overage. So I'm going to explain this. So say you go to the auction because that person lost their property due to them not paying their taxes, and they owe the county $10,000. Well, when it goes to the auction, 9 times out of 10, people always bid over the minimum bid. As you can see right here, if the minimum bid is $10,000 and the property sells at $150,000, the overage left over is $140,000. Now, a lot of people don't know that they can actually have the rights to that money. So that's what I'll be explaining today. It's about overages. And there are 4 different ways that people talk about it. So like if you were to try to do this on your own and try to figure it out, you would need to know the different vocabulary or the different names that are used. And I put tax deed in front of it because you can collect on mortgages, but I only do tax deeds because it's a very small niche group, which means that there's not that much competition if you're doing tax deeds. But you can also do mortgages. That's just not my area of expertise. So you have tax deed surplus funds. Some counties call them surplus funds. Some counties call them excess funds. Some counties call them overbids. I just use overages because to me, it's a better way to explain things to people. It's whatever is over the amount that the owner owed that you can collect on behalf of the owner. Now, a lot of people ask, well, who can collect on these funds, right? Well, the owner could collect on these funds, and I'm assuming the reason why you're on this call is because you're an investor. You as a third-party individual can collect, and attorneys. And the reason why I wanted to show you who can collect on these funds is because less than 1% of the owners know that they have the rights to the overage. And then you have people like us that are real estate investors that are wanting to get in a real estate game. We also too could collect, and then you have your attorneys, which is a very small niche group. So pretty much this is your competition right here. The owners who know less than 1% that they can get it, you as an investor, and then the attorneys. So it's a really small niche group of people that know that they can help others collect overages of the amount that's owed at the county. So this is what your competition looks like. And these are the only 3 people. Also, I should have added your heirs, like people's heirs can also collect as well. But it's the same as the owner. So some of you may be wanting to know, okay, well, if I want to get into this business, what is it that I need? So there's 3 forms that you need in order to collect funds. You have your assignment fee contract. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people ask me, okay, well, if you're trying to help from another person, how do you know that the money's going to come to you? Well, these are all the forms you would need to guarantee that the check comes to you, and you, by being a right individual, would get the check and then pay the owner. There's a lot of things that go into there, but these are like the 3 basic forms that you would necessarily need in order to start the overage process. One is an assignment fee, which the owner would be assigning their rights to you. And then you have your contingency fee form. And basically what that means is, and I'll show you guys a check that I got a couple of months ago, but a contingency fee form is basically when you're talking to the owners, you're negotiating a price up front. So you're telling them that you're not going to charge them anything, but if you're able to collect funds on their behalf, you're going to give them a percentage. And I like to give more than I receive. So I normally give my owners more than what I would get. So I start off with the 60-40. Some owners may say that's too high, so I'll do a 730. It just really depends on the overage. And then you have your affidavit or your power of attorney. And more so your affidavit are for those, for example, I don't know if some of you guys saw on my Facebook, in October, it's October, September. Yeah, in September, I went to the auction in Tarrant County, and I was bidding on 6 properties. Out of those 6 properties, 4 of the owners was deceased. So if I wanted to go and collect over the overages, which I am working on since I went, and I advise, if you're a newbie and you're really wanting to get into this business and you can't find a list, just go to the auction and take notes, because you can create your own overage list right there. That's why I go to the auctions that are open. And you would need an affidavit for the heirs. So now I'm trying to locate the heirs to let them know that there's money left for them. So those are the 3 forms that you would need in order to start to collect the funds to ensure that the check comes in your name. The next I want to talk about is, what do you need from this list? Because you'll have people selling you lists or a software program, or you could Google a list. And I'm going to give you an example of what these lists look like in a second. Because I like to tell people, I just don't talk the talk, I walk the walk. So I'm going to show you the list. But you guys might want to screenshot this, jot this down, because these are really intricate steps that you would need from a list. And these are also things that you would need in order to process a claim. Number one, the number one thing that most newbies make and the mistake is the original owner's name. Now, remember, I said, like, I go to the auction, I also buy properties. Now, if I was to buy a tax deed property, you can't do a claim to me. You have to do it to the original owners. And what a lot of newbies do is they'll go and they'll find this list and they'll try to file a claim on the new owner as opposed to the old owner. So you have to make sure it's the original owners that you're going after. You also need to have the address. You want to know what the winning bid amount is. You want to know what the minimum bid amount is, because some of these counties are crooks. And then you want to know the redemption period of that state. For example, I'm in Texas. It's 2 years. California is 1 year. South Carolina is 5 years. Florida, it used to be 1 year, but some counties only give you 120 days. So it just really depends. But there is a redemption period. And what that means is that once that house goes to auction and there's an overage, you only have so much time to collect those funds on that overage before it goes back to the county and it's all null and void. So those are the 5 things that I always tell new people that you need to be aware of when you are starting this business.
What's the redemption period normally? What's an average?
It ranges. Like I said, they're all over the place. It just depends on the state. So like I said, like California is 2 year, 1 year, Texas is 2 years, South Carolina is 5 years. I've seen 1 to 2 years, but it just really depends on the state.
That's what they're always talking about. Why you gotta wait 2 years? Okay.
Yes. So now I'm going to show you the different lists so that you'll understand what I'm talking about. Remember, I said there's 5 things you need to know. So I'm going to show you what Arizona's list looks like. And can everybody see this list? Can everybody see it? Okay, so this is Arizona's list. And as you can see, there's no name, there's no address, it's just the overbid amount and the sell date. And then this is the tax default number. So a list like this, you would have to do a lot of research in order to get the name, the address, the APN number. So places like this takes a little bit more time for research. Now I'm going to show you Florida's list. And so as you guys can see, Florida has a little bit more detailed. You see how it has the parcel lot number, the owner's name, and then it actually has the actual balance. So
Can you go back to the first list? There may be a little delay. Some people can't see it, didn't see it yet.
What, the Arizona list?
Yeah, can you show the first list again and just give it a little bit, there may be a slight delay. Okay, go ahead and put your thumbs up if you can see the list. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And as you guys can see, Arizona, this is like 33 pages. And a lot of people ask me, what's in it for you? Well, nothing really, because I'm already ahead of the game, but it's such a niche market that I just want to share the wealth. And I feel like during COVID, this is the best time to be Santa Claus for a lot of people, because I know if you talk right and you build the right relationship, you can actually get people money and you help yourself by helping others. So that's why I really like this process. So I'm going to go to Florida. And the reason why I'm showing you guys this list is because I want you to see the difference in the lists, because they're not created equal. And as you can see, they make you do a little work. Each county is a little bit different. And a lot of people ask me all the time, well, what's a good county to start this overage business? And I mean, it's a loaded question. So one can be how hard the list is. Another thing can be the things they ask you on filing a claim. But just for the sake of this presentation, I just wanted to show you, this actually gives you the name, it gives you the parcel lot number, but it doesn't give you the address, and it gives you the overage amount, but it doesn't give you the minimum bid. So that's something else you would have to research. And then I'm going to go to California. And for those that are in California, I just want you guys to know they have the largest overages, by the way. So this is California. And as you can see, like they have one that's 382,000, 101,000. These people do not know that they have the right to collect these funds. So this is California's list. Once again, it has the name, it has the overage amount, and it has the APN number, but it doesn't have the address. So I just wanted to reiterate to you, though it's important to have all those things before you process a claim. And last but not least, my favorite state, Texas. I moved here to do this business solely. I went all in. This is a small county out of Texas, and they pretty much have the same thing. They have this one, they have the case number, they have the owner's name, and then they have the overage balance. And then they also have the payer, like who actually purchased it. So you sometimes can work backwards, but it's not advantageous. But this is what one of the Texas. Now, just because I showed you all of these lists in these different counties doesn't mean that all of them look the same. Meaning, for example, I just showed you Texas. Another county list might look different. So just FYI, I just wanted to let you know that all the lists are different. So I just gave you 4 different states of what the lists look like. Oh no, can everybody see? Oh. What just happened? Okay. Now, I guess I should have made that screen bigger. This is what the overage process looks like for some of you that are curious about this whole thing. I was talking to a student yesterday doing the overage process, and she says, Mika, really honestly, how long does it take? And I was telling her, because I'm a realtor and I've been a realtor for 17 years, it takes me a lot quicker than it may the average person, because I know how to actually look for stuff. Meaning I know where to look. I know how to find property records. I know how to find the tax deeds, the forms, how they're filed. I know what to look for pretty much. But just to give you a little part of the game, this is the process that I use. Just a little snapshot, and I go into a little bit more detail. I'm going to offer you guys to be a part of a cohort if you want. And these are some of the things that I will be doing in the cohort. I will already have a list for you. And so that's number one. You want to get an overage list, but you want to get an overage list in a county that accepts third parties, because not every county will allow you to collect overages. The next thing I do is I sort through the list from the highest to the lowest, because why work on a $5,000 overage when you could work over on a $100,000 overage? So my goal, personally, my own personal goal, is to do 100,000 a month, and I'll explain that in a minute when I show you the check. So the next one is you have to get the paperwork. Now, I should say that this is the first step, because you want to know the paperwork in the process, because that'll let you know how easier or how hard it is to collect the claim. So when I'm looking into a county, the first thing I go to is I'm trying to find out what are the contracts and what are the documents they need to file this claim. And that's going to let me know if it's going to be easy or if it's going to be hard. And that determines for me personally if I'm going to go after overages in that county. The next thing is to find the original owner. I'll walk you through a process, and I actually show you that in the cohort. In step 5, you have to build credibility, which I also offer. I have pretty much everything already set. I already have a corporation, a website, or 800 number. So when people contact, or if you were to be a part of my cohort and you to contact people, you have everything set up. Then the last but not least is to submit the claim to the agency that's holding the funds, and then just wait for an approval. I did a post on my on this check right here. It literally took me 10 hours. And the 10 hours, honestly, you guys, the 10 hours took me more so just calling and touching bases with the owner. Now I'm showing you this check because this is one of my largest ones. I've had a $10,000 one and a $20,000 one. And so this $90,000, it didn't go all to me. 60% went to the owner, and I collected 40%. Now, I had someone ask me the other day, well, how do they know? Why can't you just keep the whole 90,000? And I was like, yeah, I could, but this is a business and I stand by my name. You know what I mean? So, and my belief is the more I give, the more I will receive. So when I make a commitment, an agreement with someone, I'm going to withhold that agreement. Another thing I'm going to let you guys know on this call, I am not perfect. I tell people all the time, I don't claim to be a guru. I pretty much have a process that I utilize, and I'm teaching other people my process. And so I say that all to say, as you guys can see, this is my name on this check. This was actually a mistake because I should have had my corporation under this check. But unfortunately, it was out of state. And they wanted me to give them original documents of my corporation, my articles of my corporation. And so I was just trying to process and hurry up everything that I was just like, forget it, just put it in my name. So unfortunately, I will have to pay taxes on the money that I keep. But that's why it's always good to have a corporation. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But I mean, it just also depends on your goal too. If you want to go after $5,000 or $6,000 overages, that's fine. And you don't necessarily have to have a corporation, but it does make you look a little bit more reputable. So some of you guys may be wanting to know, what do I do next? Well, some of you may have just gotten on this call just to find out what overages are and to do nothing. The second thing is you could figure this out on your own and, you know, go through the mistakes and figure it out as you go, or you could work with me and I'm going to guide you through the process. Like I said, I showed you guys 7 steps, and I'm offering a cohort where people are going to be held accountable. And in my cohort, I'm charging $497. Now, I do offer this program for $1297, but you don't get to split any of the profits with me. You would get me one-on-one. So,
hey, I'm here in San Antonio. I'm in Texas, so I guess you're somewhere in Texas too. So are you talking about with this program, or are we going to be dealing with, just since I'm in Texas, just dealing with the